Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
Yay.
Oh, look, we can see our, that's perfect.
The
Behind
logo,
us, the logo
is higher,
and
yes. And the
Being
picture
so
has
good.
changed. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
What we see is green. What you all see is houses. Pretty cool. So excited to be here after it has rained and some of the pollen has finally gone
Oh
away.
my goodness, my voice is back. I had to do a podcast with Benton Moss, and he was like, "Let's fine, just do it." And
Meanwhile, she sounded like a frog.
I do. I don't think it's not out yet, but it's something else. I mean, it's really affecting everyone.
Yes.
So I hope you aren't affected anymore, and it's getting better.
I feel like we still have probably 3 more weeks of this, though. It almost takes the month of April, but it is definitely better.
Well, and it's funny how it's like, it seems like it's so hard that you see houses and blah, blah, blah. Well, now as everybody's out looking at houses in the pollen and everything, it's a sign that people really do want to buy, and it's the spring market. So
yes.
we're kind of busy out there.
I have a house that's coming on tomorrow, and they were so worried about as soon as we pressure wash the house, which they did yesterday, then it's immediately going to get filthy again. But hopefully it'll hold off a few days.
Well,
We
and
have
I got
pictures
to
first
see
thing.
it a little bit, and the porch outside is amazing
I know,
back
I
there.
know.
It's really big, but it was covered, so I can't
Covered
wait to
in
see it with
pollen.
it. I'm going to show it Friday.
Yes, yes.
So good.
Well, we need a big thank you. We received, so if you remember 2 weeks ago, we asked for, well, we have before, but 2 weeks ago, we asked for people to please email in or call in, but most of them came in email with questions. And we received 4 this week, which was so nice. So we're going to make sure to address those. So as you think of something, please don't ask us about the tariffs, because we don't know what's going on with those in the housing market. But
We know that's a big topic right now,
Yes.
but we're focused on real estate.
that's right. But as you go through the next 2 weeks before our next show and other things continue to come up, please email those questions again, because it is so helpful to make sure we address what you want us to talk about.
Absolutely, and they were really good questions.
Yes. So let's get right into it. One of the first questions that came from a viewer was, what is the ideal time to sell your home? And the funny answer is this week, basically.
This week, this historically is the best time.
Yep.
Isn't that amazing?
This second, third week of April, statistically, is the very best time to put your home on the market. Obviously, there are perks all times of year, but overall, national best time is the second, third week of April.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that funny that we got that question?
Yeah, and it's so timely because here it is. And
Yeah.
homes evidently sell faster and for more money at this time. So it's a really good time to think about it if you haven't. And, there's still time to do a little prep work. We like to help you get it ready, but it's still time. So if you're thinking about it and you're just not sure, did I miss it? No. It's historically the best. This month is pretty
Yeah.
darn great to list. So.
And I feel like you and I have talked about how many we have showed in the last few weeks. I have showed probably more than I've ever showed in the last few weeks. And
That's a really good point. What does that tell you? That buyers are feeling like they can take their time. They can look at that one in Zebulon that may be on their radar. They look here too, but it's telling us that the buyers are kind of breathing a little bit, and they're really looking.
yes, and I do feel like things tend to show well, other than the pollen that gets tracked inside, but things tend to really show well when when someone has taken the effort to cut the grass, and it is fresh grass. And I love the azaleas. Azaleas in October are not so pretty, but azaleas in April are stunning. And there's so many azaleas under pine trees in our area, and they're blooming. And then those big tulip trees have been blooming. But I totally see, once the statistic you pulled came out, why this week and next week would be such a peak time just to to put your
Yes,
house on the market
so-
because the pictures look so pretty.
True, and the buyers are out there, so the sellers feel good about, oh, my house is getting shown. Now, it does mean that the sellers, like you said, really do need to be mindful of how they present their property and how they price it.
And how to price it, yes.
Those
So
tend to move quicker.
that's right. So that kind of takes us into the next question was, what was the ideal time to buy a home? And so this was really interesting because the ideal time, I shouldn't say ideal, the most,
I guess historically,
what
they pull all the numbers throughout the years.
was mid-October.
Mid-October.
And so we discussed, I bet a lot of these people may have priced their home, during the beautiful season of spring higher than was ideal. And unfortunately, they are part of that sitting 4 to 6, 8 month statistic. And so that fall becomes really an ideal time for the buyer to
then
snap it
swoop
up.
in and then, now it's come down
Yep.
so much, let's get it. Right?
Yep.
So,
We
don't be that seller necessarily, but the buyers are out there, so they're there. It's almost like fishing, you put your lures out there and you want to scoop up the fish and the buyers, so make sure it's presented well and priced well.
Trevor listens to a lot of podcasts, and she shared a good one with me this week, and it's so true. I mean, I share this with sellers, and she shares with the sellers, but this was on a national syndicated podcast about if the amount of views that your home gets within those first 3 weeks of being on the market is a true representation of how well your home presents and is priced. And so
that's so good, Sterling, to be reminded. Yeah,
Yes.
and we can tell you how many views. It's easy for us to
Yep,
get that
yep.
information and shared.
yes,
So that
yes,
means somebody
yes.
has looked at it and thought so much of this house, they shared it with a friend or a person they know that's looking.
That means it presented well enough in the pictures and online presentation or drive-by that somebody wanted to see it. But those first 3 weeks is really an indication of how well the home presents interior and how well it presents for the price point of where the home is priced for the neighborhood. So this agent who does a ton of volume on this podcast was really talking about that's the point where she typically starts to evaluate whether the price point needs to be addressed with a decrease.
And reviewing with your sellers, weekly, if not, twice a week is really good because
Yeah.
then we're on the pulse of the market.
True.
You're not, you understand what's out there. 'Cause that's
Yes.
really what drives everything is just the market itself.
All right, so another question that came in is also around buying, and it was really focused on what is the advantage to a buyer to use a first-time home buyer mortgage loan type. So let's kind of unpack that a minute. So first, we've had Dave Ashman on here. We've had some other lenders as well talk about the different types of mortgages that exist. Most people think about 20% down, 80% of the loan when you purchase a house, and that is a traditional, conventional loan. But for first-time home buyers, talk to us, Trevor, about, the advantage of that.
Well, there's, FHA is a great program, USDA if it's a certain property. So those don't require so much of a down payment. So
Right.
you can be in a house for as little as 3% sometimes.
3.5?
3.5,
Three,
3 to 3.5.
Okay.
And then the credit unions are phenomenal
Yes.
too. That's for really anybody, but with first-time buyers, credit unions typically give help with closing costs as well. And certainly with builders out there, they are really helping first-time buyers. They'll pay all closing costs a lot of times, and their rates are so low, especially the big national builders. They can be as low as 3.9 fixed. There's some that, gradually go up. I think Sterling and I were talking about that this morning. But that's pretty great advantage.
Yes.
And there's a little secret out there. You can be a first-time buyer if you purchased a house.
I thought it was every 4 years. Turns out it's every 3 years. Expert over here pulled it up. So That means you can actually become a first-time home buyer again and again and again. And what's really cool about that is if you want to not use all your cash, time two, maybe you pulled some money out, but you want to save that for something else, you have the potential and ability to use that.
Yes, money for whatever.
Yes,
it's so great.
And I've had one, and I do think this gentleman, he was young, and he had great credit. So, but he was an FHA buyer and he put down there's 3.5% at the top, which he was going to have to bring to closing. And he didn't have it, but he had excellent credit, and he had all of these side jobs that didn't show, but they showed that he, was a hard worker and had some money potential there. But anyway, he actually got 100%. So he had 96.5, 96.5%, and then he had another small loan for the 3.5%. So he brought, and then the seller paid closing costs for him. So he brought no money to closing.
That's such a good example to bring up because
I've only had one of those, but he had perfect credit and he was brand new to home buying.
And do you remember what his rate was? His
Well, I don't, but I do remember it was not out of the normal ballpark.
Yeah, it was probably around 6.8, and that is actually very historically normal. So don't let the news scare you about the percentage rate, your interest rate, because it's really okay in the long run.
Traditionally, though, FHA does allow for some blips on your credit score to be there because it's a government-backed loan and they're trying hard to give everybody an opportunity to own a home when possible. And so...
Good point, Sterling, because he had really good credit. But, you don't have to have perfect credit.
You don't have to have perfect credit.
And with first-time buyers, they'll really help you out there.
Yeah.
Lenders can give you tips on how to get it up a point or two quickly. So it's always good to talk with a lender before you go out there and look. It's just so good to have that financial piece in place.
Yes.
So great question though, because basically it was like, what's a first time loan versus a regular loan?
Yes.
So hope we've unpacked that a little bit for you. Lots of incentives, and you can, if you've owned a home, you can get those incentives too if you don't want to put a lot of money down on the next home. There's really good products out there.
I have Trevor references. I have one under contract right now, or actually two, but with Adams Homes, which is a national builder. There are a bunch of them in our community, Starlight, D.R. Horton, but Adams Homes is just a particular example, and they had a program for certain homes within the neighborhood, and my buyers are getting a 2.99 for 1 year, a 3.99 for the next year, and then a 4.99 for the 28 years after that for the 30-year mortgage plus all closing costs paid.
That's tremendous.
Cute young couples, just really perfect for them.
That's great. Well, there's a lot out there that we can show you and make sure you get those deals too.
Yes. All right, we had one more question that came in, and it was around, will the cost ever go down to buy a home, and how this impacts our first-time home buyers out there. So kind of a good transition from an FHA mortgage.
Well, and I pulled some numbers because I wanted to see really what it was like back 2020 to now, to see if there's are the houses not dropping, and is it really like this question so rightly asks, how can we get a deal? Well, they are right now, 2025. We've seen a huge amount of price dropping. Mm-hmm. There are 239 active homes on the market, and just last week, 23 of those dropped prices. So,
10%.
Yeah, at least. I've got some more numbers here, but just a little graph I have. It's great. It shows 2022, not so much. People were putting their house on the market and they went under. 2023 about the same. In 2024, maybe a little bit of price drop, but now it's gotten like huge amounts of price dropping. So that's telling us that the sellers may have been a little excited about putting their house top of the market, But really, the market's telling us we need to be a little more realistic. And
You know what I have seen too is that the price drops even exist with new construction, which that was few and far between
You are
2
so right,
years ago.
Sterling. Yes.
Because we had less new construction, but then also, it was kind of priced higher.
Right.
But the new construction prices have really come down and showed a decrease. Certainly resale homes have too, but I feel like some of the new construction have.
So we thought it'd be kind of fun to do these unique homes that are around the country. This is on the market right now, and it has this huge man cave. Anyway, that's in Arizona, but it's got like a huge track, like a big garage where they're little stock cars. You can race them and all, but it's a tremendous man
That's
cave
funny.
house. But these are houses that are actually on the market right now. Thought it'd be fun. Okay, the inside of this is much more. I don't know if you have the inside of this one, but in it, it's all about like ticket counters
That's
and like
funny.
checking in for a movie or something. It's pretty tremendous.
Oh
That
my
one-
gosh.
Yeah, this one is. Look at the windows on that. It's
Wow.
just
It looks like the office building.
It really does. So it's pretty cool, but
Sci-fi.
I bet the utility bills are awful.
Oh, I bet so too, particularly afternoon
Palm
sun.
Springs, I bet people have seen this one. It's almost like a Frank Lloyd Wright style, but it's built right in the rock there. How pretty is that? The inside of these shots are pretty neat
That
too.
is terrible.
That is terrible. But inside,
99
it's
bottles of
all
beer on the wall is
bars
the name. I
and
love it.
beers, and it's just a big bar in there.
They would need to drop the price for that one for me.
I know.
Holy
Ooh,
moly,
there's
that
one
looks
up
like
your style, right,
Disney
Sterling?
World.
I know. That's a beautiful castle. So these are actually houses on the market.
You know who
Tremendous.
used to post these
Ooh.
is Ellen DeGeneres. On her
Oh,
show,
yeah,
she
I
used to
love
have
her.
the funniest real estate
She really did.
comments.
And comment about like what wording
What
they
agent
use.
said.
And how they put like one bowl of flowers in there and they
Yes.
take a picture and the same flowers in another picture. Okay, that's a Mardi Gras. I think the inside would do a lot more for these, but we probably didn't pull those up too. But yeah, that's pretty neat. Purple house there.
Yikes. Barn Dominium.
Ooh.
Now, I'll tell you,
Now,
these
yeah.
are more
Oh my
popular than
gosh.
you think. I've
My,
had
hubby's a builder. People want to price that.
multiple people want barn dominiums.
Yep, and this one actually has a runway, so your pilots out there would love this.
Wow.
This home.
Oh,
And
sure.
yeah, how
Just
about-
need that.
How about a bowling alley in your house?
My 2, 8, and 10-year-old would be like, sign me up.
They'd be down there every day.
Yes. Holy
Ooh.
cow.
The origami house. That is really architecturally tremendous.
What is
Oh,
that?
it's a little hobbit house. It's inside.
It was
it's
in the earth.
In the earth. With
Okay.
that cool. That's in Pennsylvania.
Trevor, you picked some good ones here.
Well, it's
I'm glad
fun.
they're
Real
there and
estate
not
is,
here.
I know. Real estate is something else.
That
one looks
I like
pretty
how
normal.
You said pretty
Oh.
normal.
On the outside, on the inside, I don't think we have those pictures, but oh, this actually has a tree growing inside. It's so pretty.
What?
But this is what real estate's about. People can do what they want. They can,
As long as they're not in HOA.
right. Oh, look at that one.
That's insane.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad
It
these
only
aren't.
has skylights.
But you know what? If that would hit the market and globally, you get so many hits on that. All the
Oh my
unique
gosh,
homes.
you're right. The more unique the property, the more
'Cause you
it goes
had
viral.
one
Yes, I had one
recently.
recently that went viral.
And look at that one. That one
Wow.
always looks like an animal.
That
But
seems
you're-
like a
you're
good
right.
Airbnb.
Okay, thank you. We got
Oh,
and then
okay.
here's
So
a
here's
beauty.
your new construction.
New construction. Now we did add shutters on there.
Yep,
I need to
yep,
update
yep.
that picture, but that one, builder husband, he dropped the
Yeah,
price
yeah.
just under
A perfect
400.
example.
It's easy to show if anyone wants to see some new construction. Come on out. It's 55 Glasgow. And yes, another price reduction out at Belmont. This one is tremendous value. It's like 130 a square 130 a square foot.
Yeah.
Dropped it to 384. And it's 4 bedrooms with the office and formal dining down. It's really
kitchen.
nice. Built
Yeah,
in
fireplace.
2021. That's the deal. And 0.59 of an acre.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another shot. But there is another one too on 75 Eltham that is 2024 built, and it is 5 bedrooms, and they just dropped it to 450. And yeah, that one we don't need to see. That one already sold, so not sure why we got that one up there. But anyway, there are great deals to be had out there, right here in Belmont too. I say that right here because our studio's in Belmont.
That's right. That's right. So y'all, I just realized what time it was. Thank you so much for sending those 4 questions. I hope that was really helpful for us to talk through. It certainly was helpful or enjoyable for us to talk through, and the fact that you took the time to email. As you go over the next couple of weeks, if you will please email us some more questions, and we'll report back on how this next 2 weeks did in the market when we're meeting with you next, and maybe the pollen will be a little bit better too. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining us this morning. We're glad to be with you.
Enjoy the spring market.
Yes. Thank you.